Everyone is super excited because the new season of Bluey's cartoon is coming. But have you ever imagined what a series focused exclusively on an incredible new character, the child of Bluey, would be like?
No, she didn't. Captain won.
The Australian series about the little blue dog, created by Joe Brum and produced by Ludo Studios, has been airing since April 20th, 2020. The first episode of this show is called The Magic Xylophone, and it was already amazing. Miniseries need more time to win over the audience, but Bluey stole our hearts from the very beginning. Man, this show is great. Unlike other cartoons, in Bluey's universe, time passes just like it does in our world, which is why we see the adults getting older and the kids growing up. Because of this, it's natural that at some point, Bluey will become an adult. We even saw a glimpse of this in the episode Surprise, but it was very brief, just enough to make us more curious. But if there's one thing that caught our attention in that episode, besides seeing Bluey as an adult and Chili and Bandit older, it was meeting a kid who appears outside the house, hiding and ready to scare Grandpa. Well, the show doesn't explicitly say that the puppy is Bluey's child, but we're almost certain it is, because that child's game is just like the one Bluey was playing at the beginning of the episode, and that's no coincidence. This little dog inherited Bluey's chaotic energy. And if it was fun to see this puppy for just a few seconds, imagine a whole series focused around him. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So hop on board, because another Cinewave is starting. Let's imagine what a series focused on Bluey's child would be like. A kind of continuation once the current cartoon about the little blue dog ends. Because even though we don't want it to happen, Bluey's show will end at some point, even if that's still a few years away. Of course, the natural heir to Bluey's legacy would be her son or daughter. If Bluey's puppy series were created, it would also be named after this little dog, who we imagine would be called Roxy. But this would just be a nickname, since his real name could be Roxanne if it's a girl, or Roxwell if it's a boy. And of course, choosing the name would be a very special moment in the show. The first episode, or one of those mini-sodes that are just a few minutes long, could very well focus on the day Bluey brought her baby home, and the whole family gathered to pick the name. Wouldn't that be super cute? It would be a nice way to show that Bluey is still around, but at the same time, the main story is no longer hers. Of course, she's still important, but now not as a child, but as a mom. Man, I'm getting emotional just imagining it. Her child would be a mixed breed dog, part blue heeler like his mom, but also showing traits from his dad, with some of his fur being purplish as well as darker spots that Bluey has on her head, back, and tail. Roxy loves games filled with running and shooting with his toy gun, just like his mom. But now that we've talked about the matriarch, let's talk about Roxy's father, who, as everyone hopes, including me, would be Mackenzie. The Bluey series itself gives us this hint, as we can see that the little puppy has traits of both her and him. Throughout all 3 seasons of Bluey, we wondered if she would end up with Jean-Luc or Mackenzie in the future, but of course, the fandom always rooted more for the Border Collie, and it's great that our wishes were granted. And let's be honest, Bluey even dreamed about her little friend, as we saw in the Fruit Bat episode, making it clear that the eldest daughter of the Heeler family had her heart set on him since childhood.
And they live happily ever after.
But speaking of Roxy, aside from the physical aspects, we can see another cool detail about him. Pay attention to the little glasses Roxy is wearing. Did you notice that they have a light on the lens? It's future technology to help with games. Man, that's so cool. I wish I had one of those, but I guess we'll have to wait a few more years, right? Roxy would attend the same school as Bingo and have amazing lessons like her. Since Calypso would be an elderly dog by that time, the teacher would no longer be her, but her daughter. The new teacher would have the same patience and wisdom as her mother, joining in on all the games with her students and advising everyone when conflicts arise. At this school, Roxy would have several friends who would also be the puppies of Bluey and Bingo's friends. Roxy would already have 6 friends right from the start, and we'll tell you about them now. But first, if you'd like to see a series about Bluey's child and you're enjoying the video so far, comment #ROX below. Back to Roxy's friends. These 6 puppies would be the new terriers, light brown in color and full of energy. Of course, they would be the children of the original terriers, as each of the 3 brothers got married and had 2 children. The triplets were always very close and never parted, even during classes and their games, and they continued this way into adulthood. As a result, the brothers chose to enroll their children in the same school where they had so much fun. Like their parents, whose names we don't yet know, they would be called the New Terriers. But that's not all. Roxy would also be friends with a brown and beige Australian Kelpie puppy who loves wearing her long hair down and would be Rusty and Indy's daughter. This wouldn't be surprising, as we know these two always had a crush on each other, and we believe the perfect name for this character would be Candy. Another puppy who would be at school with Roxy would be the youngest daughter of Captain and Mia, who had 4 puppies. And Emily would be the youngest, and she would be the same age as Roxy. This little pup would be an orange American foxhound who loves exploring the city's forest, and she would lead some of Roxy's and the rest of the gang's games. Roxy's friendships continue, and the next one would be with a pink bulldog. As unlikely as it seems, this friend of Roxy would be none other than the daughter of Winton and Coco, and her name would be Charlotte. And of course, in the new series, even though she's not the protagonist, Bluey would still appear in some episodes, spending time with her son and taking him to visit his grandparents. In these episodes, we could see moments similar to those that happened in Bluey's own show. For example, remember the episode where Bluey pretends to operate on her dad, pretending a cat went into his belly? It's Hospital, the second episode of the first season. So, imagine an episode where Roxy does the same thing, but this time pretending with Bluey. Like he teams up with one of his friends, pretends to be a doctor, and calls his mom to join the game. Man, that would be incredible! But in this episode, the puppy wouldn't pretend to operate on a cat in his mom's belly because by this point, cats would already exist in Bluey's world. Just imagine, years would have passed, so surely dogs and cats would have made peace by then, right? Seeing felines alongside dogs would be common. I can even picture a family of cats living next door to the healers. And of course their kitten would be friends with Roxy. In that same episode, another of Roxy's friends could be Bingo's child, Kiwi. Like her mother, this dog would prefer more peaceful games, like playing house or pretending to be in a restaurant. Chili and Bandit would also make appearances in these episodes, but they would already be elderly, so they would play more of a supporting role in the games. Just like Grandma watching Bingo doing a handstand in the episode of the youngest healer's birthday. And if you love Bluey and are enjoying this video, click on the subscribe button, ring the bell, and enjoy. In addition to his grandparents, Roxy would also spend time at the home of Zeh, Radley and Frisky's child. Since the couple had their child shortly after getting married, he would already be an adult while Roxy is still a child, so it would be an uncle-nephew relationship. And since we're talking about older relatives, we can't forget about Aunt Brandy's daughter. As loving as her mother and Chili, Aunt Bluey and Bingo's daughter will love visiting her sisters and nephews. Roxy will love his aunt's visits, especially since she'll always bring new costumes for him. He'll always come up with new games alongside his older cousin. Besides his friends in the city, one of Roxy's friends will come from outside Australia. Straight from Canada, Jean-Luc's son will come to the city a few times to visit his friend Roxy. And Jean-Luc himself will visit his old friends Bluey and Mackenzie. During these moments, the adults will appear in the series, but only in the background, because the focus will be on the kids, just like it already happens in Bluey's show. As everyone has already noticed, things will be different and modern in this future of Bluey's world. For example, that picture on the house wall, rather than just having one photo, it's a screen where photos rotate, showing various family moments. Also on the shelf where the clock is, we can see underneath it a toy in the shape of a small robot that looks like a long dog, which suggests that plush toys have probably been replaced by robots. The whole world has likely gone through a technological revolution. Because of this, we imagine that some of Roxy's games could follow this trend and take place in new places. For example, he could travel to some place in Australia with a super modern amusement park, so we could see more different rides, new games that the future puppies love, and Roxy would also make new friends. Or the family could even go to another country. Imagine how cool it would be if the series took the opportunity to show us more cultures. We know that Bingo probably followed this more adventurous path, as in the photo we see, the dog is on Easter Island, a place in the Pacific Ocean. Another cool thing would be if Bingo took her nephew on one of her adventures. Imagine how cool it would be to see Roxy and Bingo going on adventures in distant and mysterious places. That would definitely be amazing. We've selected 2 super cool videos that are just perfect for you, so you can keep watching fun content with us. Just choose the one you like best and click on it. Thanks, enjoy the video!